GM. We'll give some people some time to get in. We only just set the space up very shortly moments ago. So if we can start sharing it around, that'd be awesome. I'll crank up a tune in a second.
When I'm driving in my car, I wish that you take the wheel, but you're not there. It's so unfair. What if I fall asleep again? Sometimes when I'm lying in my bed, I get those voices in my head. Influence me to some degree. Now I'm not sure I'm in. I wish you knew what I was thinking of. Can't believe what I've been thinking of.
GM, everybody. Thanks for showing up to the Gnars Jam session, number 3 for the third week in a row. We're here to catch up with the Gnars team. We got Oxigami on the Gnars account and Satori on co-host, who is also our guest this week. I see a bunch of the Gnarly crew in the audience here already. If we can get everyone to just retweet the room, because we didn't put this tweet up until like 15 minutes ago. So it would be right if we do a retweet. And see if we can get any more people in here. No biggies otherwise, because we're streaming to YouTube Live, and we're also going to be pumping this out as a podcast thanks to Davin here. So, this is we're hitting multiple platforms and creating long-term content here anyway. So, all good. How you doing, Gummy?
Yeah, doing well. It's been a pretty busy week with admin and stuff in the DAO. So we're a little bit tired today. Went to a concert last night, but feeling good. Friday.
Keeping things gnarly. That's right. While it's Thursday night for those on the east coast of the US, it's actually Friday morning here.
Hello from the future.
Exactly.
Always blows my mind.
I know, it's wild, huh? How you doing, Satori?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, man. So yeah, it's like Gami said, we've got so much cool stuff going on that it's been mostly admin handling the team and how to grow the team and expand the community as a team and achieving more stuff. And yeah, it's been pretty wild. It's like we got a list of like 9 things that are going on here that I don't know if we're even going to get through, but let's see.
It's crazy. It's really been popping off lately.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, and I think it's all due to the amazing community members that are just stepping up and wanting to do cool stuff with us. It's great.
Yeah, I could give everyone a little idea of the agenda for today. So we're I guess an idea of what we've got to cover. We're heading to NFT London in about a month. Got some really cool news to share there. Couple of big announcements. As I mentioned before, big week of admin, so we've got a few things to talk about. Testing out platforms like D-Work and meeting up with the founder next week. Bit of news about Nouns Vision. Some news about some big developments with our website and our content and our different partners we're working with. A bunch of new proposals to discuss quickly that passed this week. And love to hear a bit of Satori's backstory and the recent launch of Gnarly News. And then, some giveaways and announce the next artwork contest that we've got, which ties in nicely with Satori and his story. Hey, that rhymes. So we're pretty much good to dive in. And as usual, Ben's been working crazy long hours and sleeping like just micro naps throughout the day. So how are you holding up, bro?
Yeah, pretty good. Last night it was I had a 2-hour nap, then Nounsel call, and then the Noun Square space with D's and 4156 came up, and Oni showed up for a bit. So that was a really cool space. And then did a bit of admin-y kind of stuff until like 5 a.m., 3 hours sleep, and then here we are, back here again. Crazy.
And you've got kids.
Yeah, exactly. I could have got 4 hours this morning if they didn't wake me up. They actually woke me up. So I had more time to prepare for the show today, this one. So that was kind of good.
I don't know how you do it. It's impressive, though.
I actually don't know either. I think it's just bleeding passion for all the stuff that we're doing here.
That I can understand.
Ben even managed to fit in our weekly 3-hour conversation.
Yeah.
When was that? Yesterday?
That was just yesterday too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man, it's good. And we got Davin and Brett here. It's awesome to see you guys too.
I just
shining
realized
examples of community members. What was that, Ben?
I just realized we only just missed the end of that last auction. I'm going to go settle real quick so we can watch the next one in 20 minutes.
Ah, nice. I think, did you cop that one?
Nah, someone outbid me.
Someone got in.
I wasn't watching. We had 0xTeej and a non. I don't know who the winner was.
Oh, nice. For the yay peanut.
Yeah, peanuts, yay!
So, I think I've sworn every time that we've done this show that I'd be like a better host and better co-host and better organised each week. But in true fashion and my usual form, I'm just here as I was the previous 2 weeks, mostly unprepared.
No, I think we're good, man. I think we're good.
What if we go for a little soundboard test? Because the last 2 times I wasn't able to get any sound to come through to the listeners. So how are we today?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, can it be louder?
It's good. Sounded good to me.
Yeah, check how's that in the audience, because I think it's a bit softer for us and might be a bit louder for everybody as listeners. Just hit some emojis if that's okay. If not, then I guess we'll up the volume or something.
Yeah. Shout out Twitter for the great support of some of your most popular products.
Yeah, it's crazy, hey?
Twitter's because this is a flawless product with no flaws. I don't know what you're
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know better than most, so taking your word for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, it sounds good.
There it is.
Good. We got the right volume and everything, I think.
Okay, sweet. Well, shall we dive right into some of the news of the week?
Yeah, let's do it, man. What do we got going on?
Cool. So I'd like to shout out to Quinn from NFT NYC, who are putting on the NFT London event, which is on the 3rd and 4th of November in London, funnily enough, when it's called NFT London. And we've been approved to run a Nounish panel discussion. And I'm inviting a bunch of other Nounish builders. I think we've got Orbtoshi, we've got Grant Sheffo, we've got a couple of people from within Gnars, like Sam from Rainbow Wallet. We've got a couple of other people showing interest, like Goldie and 142. And basically we'll be hosting a 25-minute panel on the DAO stage, and we're going to be talking about what it's like to be a builder in the Nouns ecosystem and how you can get your ideas funded. And we'll share a few of the stories from the ground level of all these amazing people that contribute to this awesome ecosystem we're lucky to be part of. And I guess one thing just led to another, and I don't know if it was my boyish charm or what, but I got invited by the organisers to MC the DAO stage across the 2 days. So it's awesome exposure for us at Gnars, but also for Nouns. And I'll be rocking the Nouns Vision glasses, and I'm hoping everyone else that joins me on stage will be able to as well. So looking forward to that. I don't know how many people listening are in London or are able to make it, but we'd love to see you there. And I think in terms of other news, I mentioned Nouns Vision briefly there. Been talking with Salvino, and we're going to arrange an allocation of Nouns Vision glasses for our athletes within the Gnars DAO community. And that'll be awesome, especially with some of the recent proposals that have just passed as well, which I'll touch on shortly. But it's looking like it might be something that Salvino's interested in doing with some other sub-DAO communities as well. Because, what better way to mint out the rest of the collection of the Nouns Vision glasses than to see cool people wearing them at events and in the media and some of the cool content that our athletes are working on creating. So super excited about that. And then I guess just to touch on I mentioned there'd be some cool riders from our team interested in rocking some noggles. We had a couple of proposals passed this week that I'm really excited about personally. We had one with Luis Haddad from Brazil. He's a big wave surfer, and we've signed him up with a sponsorship very similar to like what Vlad and some of the other crew have proposed. So we're going to start seeing some extremely Nounish big wave surfing, which is really exciting. I never knew the slabs were so gnarly in Brazil, so it's even just exciting to see what the surf's like around other parts of the world. And then we've also brought on board our first 2 female athletes in the Gnars team. which is Taylor and McKenna. So Taylor Elliott was introduced to us from Kevin Kowalski, who's one of the skaters in our crew. And Taylor is a snowboarder. And then McKenna, she is a skier. So they're actually working on a new project this winter throughout the US, where they'll be doing a really cool film project that focuses on topics such as their position as female athletes in the industry, sort of celebrating what they do as an art form, talking about some of the challenges they face, and really capturing that the vibe and the positive energy of what it is they do with their skiing and snowboarding. And it's cool to see two sports coming together in this collaborative way. And they've got a lot of really cool ideas to make their film project Nownish. So I'm really excited to be working with them, and I think a lot of our community are as well. And they're super responsive to want to collaborate with the community on how this project comes together as well. So they're diving into the Discord and starting to get sort of used to the Web3 way of doing things. So it's really cool to see. And then I guess one last thing to mention off the back of that is since we've mentioned onboarding, is we're super fortunate to have Sam, who I think, did Sam join you on the Noun Square recently, Ben?
Yeah,
Sam
yeah,
Mason DeCaries?
Yeah, exactly. Like when I sort of saw him start stepping up and being more vocal in NAS, and I was like, man, you'd be an awesome guest on Noun O'Clock. So like, because part of NAS, obviously in the Nounish ecosystem, and a wallet engineer, like you're like one of the biggest community onboarders there is in the space. So I had him on to kind of discuss his journey and how he found Nouns and NAS ultimately, and through all of that. And kind of went over a few aspects from the engineering and tech side of things to how he presses his own boards and stuff like that. So that was awesome.
Oh man, I'll have to listen into that show. I haven't yet, but Sam had lots of good things to say, and he's recently, I guess, on the onboarding side, he's recently started contributing to Gnars DAO as a code maintainer and doing improvements on our front end, and we've got a whole lot of different ideas. And part of what actually brought him into Gnars was having an interest in wanting to build something in terms of skateboarding, because it's a passion of his, and he's got a young kid, and lives in a smaller community where maybe some of the same opportunities aren't there for the local kids and stuff who frequent the skate parks. And so he's actually brought in some cool opportunities where we're able to support a local athlete, I think in scooter riding. And it's just amazing to see like the different impacts we have around the world, and to be able to work with Sam and get closer to our relationship with Rainbow Wallet is awesome, because it's such a great product for onboarding new people. And we're starting to learn that a lot of people are being onboarded mobile first, and sort of Rainbow is one of the best examples of a mobile wallet. So it's really cool to have that opportunity. Oh yeah, thanks. I forgot to run the soundboard. I can't do two things at once.
Yeah, I know, it's hard, man. I just realized I should probably be doing it for you while you're chatting. Yeah.
Anyway.
But no, that's absolutely right, man. Like like that could be one of the first crypto-based apps that anyone uses, and like it is a super clean wallet, especially for NFTs, like looking through your collection or other people's collections. Like it's really it's rad to just be able to throw someone's address in and just like bang, looking through all the different things they got in there. And super clean. I love it. Like I've been using 1inch mobile for quite some time now for very similar reasons that Rainbow is awesome. It had a good NFT display, and a few aspects that, like dark interface and stuff, that I was all about. And it didn't make my phone feel like it was about to catch on fire. So
It's funny because I've
certainly
always
does.
used MetaMask. Yeah, I've always used MetaMask, and after hearing you guys talk about Rainbow so much, like you definitely got me wanting to switch over.
yeah, I mean,
It's so clean.
it is definitely worth it, man. Like I say that this is what I use, but I have like 50 wallets on different devices and phones, and like I test all of the
I was
things.
gonna say, yeah.
I can't help myself but test the things, and then I find myself naturally gravitating towards the better ones for whatever reasons. And each one sometimes adds new features. Sometimes one works better with something else, and things like that. So I tend to have a few options at the ready. Bang bang.
There's so many cool opportunities that are opening up around, different collaborations. Obviously, Web3 products is a big one because we're in a unique position with onboarding people. But then with the chat that I had with Sam the other night, we had some crazy ideas floating around, and even to the point, like, bit of an alpha leak, but some of the ideas that we've been thinking about, how to gamify real life activities like skating and be able to have, achievement unlocks and be able to earn badges and stuff as you reach different milestones. And then that opens up like a whole new opportunity with brands. Like, imagine if you verified that you can land a kickflip, and then because of that you get like 5 or 10% off at like Vans footwear or something. Like, there's just so many ideas floating around with this kind of stuff as well, and really leveraging the tech that we're built on top of as a DAO, and leveraging some of that in different ways. It's really exciting too. So I guess it's probably a good opportunity to actually introduce our guest today as well.
Yeah.
So Satori is a prolific bidder of Gnars auctions. He's got an awesome collection. He's been around since really close to the beginning and has been a huge supporter. And very recently, I set up the boardroom, which is where I've invited a few people that have been really awesome supporters and contributors through the early stages of Gnars DAO. And we've started to discuss, allocations of different tasks and sort of getting everyone enabled to do the things that they're excited about. And Satori has been one of the people that's really embraced that very quickly and in a really good way and really effective way. So, everyone, welcome Satori, and we'd love to hear a bit about your backstory in Web3 and how you came to find out about Gnars.
Yeah, so I found Gnars through, it was at some point in the bull market. My background is, I've done a lot of like trading, and then last year I spent a lot of time trading NFTs. And so I just have this tendency to dig into the trenches and look for, things that people haven't really heard of. And so I found Nouns, and I was, looking for all these other things, and I found Gnars, and it wasn't even like something that it was something I wanted to trade. It was just something that really, kind of spoke to me and was like something I really, kind of resonated with. Because like my background is, I got into crypto just like for the decentralization aspect, the, Bitcoin is hard money, that kind of thing. And I just love the decentralization and seeing the vision that Gammy was posting about, and like just sharing all of that before even the launch. Like it was something that I really understood, because it was something that took decentralization, but then it had like, it wasn't just money, it had like real world impact, and there was something tangible there. And so that was something that I wanted to be a part of it, and they were cheap and it was fun, and I had so much fun sniping with Ben, and I mean so many people who were around since the beginning. Like, I mean, we've been doing this for so long, like it's crazy to see people come in and now have fun like sniping each other and doing the same thing we've been doing for so many months now.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I love seeing that too. Like, it's crazy because the most active sniping time is usually in the few hours I sleep in my early hours of the morning, and I wake up and I'm like, oh, I've been missing such a good session, but it's rad because you feel like you don't have to like amp people up to do it. You just show up and everyone's having a good time anyway, and I love that, and then I can just chime in whenever I want. And if I want some cheap Gnars still, there's still a few hours in my afternoon when everyone else is usually asleep, so I can just sit there and win on my own for a while.
Yeah, and it's great because even people lose, like they're excited because they're just like an awesome Gnar was just born and someone collected it. Like, so
Yeah,
everyone's just kind of like happy for them even if they lost.
that's right. It's interesting being in the auction channel and kind of helping foster the vibes in there, like some because it could easily go a few different ways when someone's like, "Yo, is someone going to settle this?" Like, and getting pissed off because someone left something unsettled. And I'll be like, "Yo, it's pretty cool to leave it unsettled if you're not bidding because then it won't burn the Gnar. We want to save the Gnars." And then like, if they're not keen to settle, I'll just settle and let it go and whatever. And I think it's a lot of fun to just get in there and sort of see the different vibes. Yeah, I
Sorry
love it.
about that.
That's right.
I think
Yeah.
we've been talking about doing having the one of those wallets. Sorry, I'm still in my mind, but it's something like if instead of banning the now, if we could just have them go to a specific wallet and maybe retrieve them later. I don't know. I think Gami talked about this in the meeting. What do you guys
Yeah.
think of it?
Yeah, there's been a bit of talk about that, like switching out the burn address with like a rescue address, I guess, of some sort. Like I've actually got a few ENSs that could be suited for this because of something I was working on to create a hole of fame. So it's like you throw them down into the hole of fame and then you put them on display, and then you can have burn events and you can have like giveaways and things like that the community can control. Like it's like there was no bidders there, but we saved them for onboarding new community, or just have like a monthly or a yearly burn event where we're like, let's burn a bunch of Gnars. Well, send them. We send them all to the burn address by vote.
Yeah, there's been a bit of talk around doing a auction house upgrade. So there are a few things that we've definitely been discussing, and now having more and more people getting involved on the contribution side as well. It definitely makes sense that we would go ahead and make some of those optimizations and get things up to what suits everyone best, because that's what it's all about. And to that point, it's been really wholesome actually to jump into the auctions channel and see where people are like congratulating each other for like sniping someone else and getting the Gnar that they wanted. And then you quite often see OTC deals happening right there in the chat, like, oh bro, that's cool, would you like to grab one of mine instead? And then there'll be like a swap that happens between people.
Yeah.
And that's so cool because it just goes to show like we've just gone past 500 members and there's still just like the pure wholesome vibes. And I think that's a lot to do with us having a mission and having a reason for being there that's not just buying NFTs and hoping that the price goes up,
Yeah.
So
it's funny because it feels almost kind of like the way people gather around 9 o'clock. It feels like almost like that, but basically all day long.
Exactly, yeah. And I was just about to say, oh, there's an auction ending in a minute, and I literally just missed it. I watched the last 3 seconds just then. Like, there's Zero XT in the audience here is on fire though. He's in there bidding it up. So people are paying attention. Luckily, someone is.
Oh, and it's a nice one too.
It's such a good one. I was going to bid. This is one of those ones where I'll be in the auction channel being like, good game. That was an awesome one.
Yeah, I think I guess having Satori as a guest is it's a big milestone to sort of talk a bit about his contributions and stuff as well, because it's the people like Satori and Ben who arrived really early on and helped to sort of foster the culture and the vibe around what it is that we do. And there's no sort of understating how important that is and how much value that brings to the project, or any project in that case. So I guess it'd be cool to hear about like what sort of things you're looking forward to doing, within NAS, and then I guess a good chance to mention the launch of your newsletter, Gnarly News, and also I guess we can touch on what it is that we're going to be doing with our upcoming artwork contest, because there's a nice tie in there with Gnarly News.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with Nouns. It's proliferate the meme. People really, I think, understand, like when they get in the Discord and they see kind of what people are talking about and the things that people are doing. Like, it's just something people vibe with, and like I feel like that it has a very unique feeling that most other communities don't have. And so, I mean, that's really all I'm about at this point. Is doing what I can to help spread that. And the newsletter like was just a way to kind of, I mean, anyone who's been in any of these Discords knows how hard it is to like keep up with all the information. Like, there's so many channels and there's just so many people talking about different stuff. Like, it's impossible to keep up. So like having a place for people who don't have the time to spend and like sit in Discord and keep up with all these things, like I think that's something that's important for, I mean, the whole community in the long run.
Yeah, boy. Good timing. We really appreciate it, man, because we've all had this experience where you're in whether it's a community for like an NFT collection, or it's a DAO, or even just a bunch of friends on the internet. It's that there's this idea of like, I think I'll have to look up who it was. I think it was Derek Sivers. If anyone wants to look this up on YouTube, has this video. I think if you search Crazy Nut Festival or something like that, it's this cool video where there's a guy on a hill at a
this is
festival.
such a good video.
Yeah, and he's just like doing this weird dance, and you're like, oh man, what a weird guy. Like, and you kind of feel that weird feeling of like, oh, is that embarrassing, or is it just me and my own insecurities? And then you see the next person go out and start to imitate the dance, and then within like a minute there's hundreds of people doing this dance at this music festival. And there's a real aspect of that in the culture of community. It's like we're going off into this like unknown sort of territory, and we're always seeking out some guidance. And people like Ben, Satori, Davin, Brett, Pin Pusher, people like the Bonies, Mr. Boney. There's a lot of people in the audience here, Akva, who, they really embody that spirit. And it's just like, let's just give it a try and let's see what happens. And I think that's, for me personally, what's most exciting about working in this space. It's just like what's possible with a group of people that all care about a thing. And through that experience, I've really noticed that skateboarding, surfing, and snow sports, all these extreme sports, they share a commonality with crypto, which is, this rebellious but also friendly and wholesome and caring, looking for a different way, and then just getting up after every time you fall down and helping each other. It's just part of the culture anyway, so it seems like such a natural fit. That and I guess that's why we're here, and it's why all of our growth so far has been word of mouth. And every day there's like new skaters and surfers and boarders and rollerbladers and everything just like landing in the Discord, and I always ask, like, how did you find us? And they're like, oh, such and such brought me in, and I just bought my first Nara in the auction, and like I just can't really imagine it being any better. It's amazing, and we're still at an early stage, or we're still gnarly, as I say.
Exactly. Sorry, I was just going to say, I've noticed a few people, that started joining the community recently, and the what's it called when I guess the customary thing to do is be like, yo, I just joined this community and check out the one I got. And seeing that on Twitter now as well is kind of like, it's super exciting for me to just see more people just vibing out and finding this thing and being like, oh, this is rad. What are you guys up to? And then bid on one and grab one and then just go share it. And I'm like, hey, awesome. Like the network's growing, and yeah, I love it. I just love seeing all the good vibes spreading.
Hell yeah. I think Satori or Davin, you were going to say something, but if not, all good.
Yeah, Davin, do you want to say something? Oh, Malcolm, go for it.
Yeah. I was going to say that number one, when I joined this community, I remember sending this in the Discord. Yeah, I felt like I had just joined, but I felt like I had been part of the community forever because of
awesome.
the kind of conversations that were. I mean, literally every channel has very interesting conversations. Yeah, so I was going through some of these conversations, and the community was just awesome, man. It was just awesome. I felt like I had actually been part of the community forever. I felt like I had found at least a place that has my own kind of people. So yeah, that was one interesting one. It was one interesting one.
Stoked to hear that, man. That's awesome. I think did you want to say something, Davin?
No, I'm just trying out the soundboard. It's not working.
Oh, no worries. Here, I'll give it another crack for you. There you go.
Yeah, I feel like there's something to be said for people who are out there like doing things and trying things, and they know that like the process is to try and fail. Like, and I think a lot of people who have gotten into like crypto and Web3 like have had to experience that. Like, there's like a learning curve of like things that you're gonna mess up. Like, you'll probably send some money to the wrong address, or like do something silly at some point. And like I think athletes like kind of go through the same thing, and I think there's a lot of everyone in the community just has like this same like kind of experience. Like, we all got here through trying things and failing and finding new communities and new things to try, and I think it kind of just brings us all together.
Yeah, man. I think we embrace it in such a way. I think like
100%.
It's super inspiring to like when you sort of you get nostalgic and you go back to those like days when you're a kid and you're just like hanging out with your friends, maybe you're skating and you're just trying to like land a kickflip, and it is such a perfect analogy for crypto. It's like you're trying to land a win and you just fail and fail and fail, and then you finally get one, and then you find your people, and then you learn from each other, and you just continue developing. And I think in terms of like nouns as a broader idea, I think that the Nounders have done a really good job. I don't know how much of it's by accident or how much is intentional, but they've done a really good job of creating this foundational piece that just sort of is very inviting to build on top of. Like even if you look at the art being 32 by 32 pixels, it's like it's almost the minimum representation of an idea that's easy to build on top of, because it's not like it's some crazy realistic 3D thing and then you're just like, where can I go with this? It's like everything has been made simple and very inviting. And even just the simplicity of like slowing things down and it not being about like chasing every shiny object. Although as we're growing, there is a lot of that sort of, it's hard to keep up. But the fact is that there's a certain sort of philosophy that I think is captured, and it's definitely starting to come through in all of the other sub DAOs and extension communities.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad that like we're, one of the first projects to be pushing off in these kinds of directions. And I've been really proud of, the reception that we've had from other Nouners, especially as well. And we've had a lot of support. So yeah, good opportunity to shout out to, everyone from the Nouns community. And also like just looking in the crowd, like people like MetaMonk and Soondaboop as well. Like these are people who've, changed their lives quite significantly to contribute to this thing, because they can see that, there's the opportunity, but also that it aligns with their worldview and all that sort of stuff as well. So, yeah, dream come true.
Yeah,
I think
you
I
hit
go on about this a lot.
No, it's
Let me ask you a question,
understandable.
Mr. Torrey.
You hit the nail on the head though. With like the Nouns built something that's like foundational that everyone connects with, and so like it's almost like a platform for people to come together. And like you see, there's been talk about like what is Nounish, what does that mean? And it's kind of one of those things like you almost don't really know what it is, but you can like feel it, and like it's just like a vibe you get from people, and it's like people from all over the world coming together to like do things together. And like I mean, we had the Gnars community call the other day, and we have a big like Brazilian population, and they're speaking Portuguese for half the call, and I didn't understand a single word, but like it was cool just to be there and like hear them going back and forth, even though I didn't understand any of it.
That was a good example of like the community really just stepping up at the moment too, because last minute Garmin's like, oh my god, double booked, calendar didn't block out one of the things, and I was like, I literally just woke up, and it was, neither of us prepared at all. Everyone shows up to the call, and we're like, well, most of the people here are Portuguese speaking. Take it away. Like, you guys have got plenty of stuff to chat about. Let's do it, and just let it go. And that's amazing. I love that, and it also gives us the opportunity to embrace other things going on in the ecosystem, like, get Rocco, the Nouns AI, to translate and give us a summary of it and things like that. So, I mean, it's just such a cool thing to watch that sort of stuff happen. And I think that's one of the most amazing parts about this whole ecosystem. We can build things and potentially just walk away from them one day and let them live on forever. Like, these protocols can literally run forever, which is just so crazy.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that got me into Bitcoin, was the fact that like it's going to be around forever as long as there's internet and computers. Like there's going to be some form of Bitcoin.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that was one of the things that really drew me into it, is the fact that it's going to outlast all of us.
Yeah, so good.
I wanted to ask a question. I wanted to ask a question to our guest today. Satori is a very big contributor to the DAO, and you do a lot of work in the DAO. And there's a sentiment that I've been noticing, like a lot of holders who maybe do not have maybe enough time. So I wanted to ask, maybe what would be your advice? How can we, be able to balance maybe the work that you do on a day-to-day, and then this work of the DAO? How do you balance you as a core contributor of the DAO?
That's a good question, because it's definitely something I've struggled with. It's definitely hard. I mean, I do have a full-time job that's not related to Web3. I'm an engineer in a non-technical field. So I actually work in construction. So I don't really do anything that's relating to crypto and Web3 for most of the day. But I find time to squeeze it in whenever I can. Whether it's throughout the day or in the evening. So yeah, it's definitely something I would love to dedicate more time to, and hopefully as time goes on I'll have that opportunity. But yeah, it's just been, at this point, just doing it when I can.
Serious round of applause for you. Yeah, it's such a good question too, Damon, because there's not a training course for this stuff. It's like you don't go to the university and learn DAO contribution. And I think in future there's going to be definitely a lot more learning pathways for people wanting to get involved in this sort of stuff. But the fact is, we're just learning as we go. And recently, we've started to experiment with some tooling and stuff to try and make things a bit easier. Like we started playing with D-Work and meeting with their founder next week, and then Satori shared a couple of cool tools that are floating around as well. And I think it's hard to know what's what's best and really which way to lean into, but I think we're doing a pretty good job. And I noticed Satori, that probably a good chance to shill something of yours, that it was onboard.wtf. Is that your website?
Yeah, so that's something I started building, and as you can tell if you've spent any time on there, it's a little bit of a work in progress. I haven't gotten to the actual onboarding flows yet, but yeah, the idea is for anyone who, whether they have any experience with, using a wallet or even knowing what crypto is, like they could just hop on this website and there's a step for them to get them all the way from, learning how to use a wallet, understanding what CC0 is, figuring out how to get into the nouns ecosystem, whether it's through Lil Nouns, Gnars, New Nouns, Food Nouns, all these other sub DAOs and other communities that are around. And it's supposed to be kind of like just a one-stop shop for anyone, whatever their level of knowledge is. So yeah, it's something I started recently.
It's really cool, man. It's a good initiative, and I think something that's going to get used a lot in the near future. Once you're happy with where it's at, I'll definitely be sharing it around. And I noticed you've had a fair bit of experience in DAO life previously as well, and concurrently with Wizards DAO. Did you want to tell us a bit about Wizards and what Wizards DAO does?
Yeah, so Wizards DAO was started by WizNav, who you might have seen just won the Nouns mandate round. He's pretty active in Lil Nouns as well. So he was the dev for that and founded it along with a couple other people. And it kind of started as Nouns for degens. So it kind of attracted a lot of like traders and, people who are out there, doing that kind of stuff. And so yeah, so I think it was the first Nouns fork, and we started with 5 auctions per day concurrently, all at the same time. And then kind of, as the market has gone down and, it becomes clear that like, demand is not there, the DAO has voted to reduce the number of auctions per day. And so we went to 3 and now we're at 1, which, I think anyone in any DAO has, noticed the kind of the fall off in engagement and how it's kind of hard to keep people here when numbers not going up, kind of thing. But it's a good community. There's well connected, well established people in that community. And it's a good little hub for like if you are building a project and you want to try and find connections elsewhere, like there's probably somebody there that can help put you in touch with someone who knows how to help you. And so I think the community itself has not been growing as much recently, but again, I think that's a lot of communities are experiencing that, except for maybe Gnars. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth checking out. At this point, it's kind of like Nouns, so there's 1 auction per day. The reserve price is 0.07, so you can get in with a minimum bid of 0.07. And lately, there hasn't been a lot of competition. So yeah, if you want to, put in a bid over there, you can probably get in for the reserve and come check us out.
Sweet, I love the website. It's really cool, and being such an early fork too, there's a real sense of historical significance there. I really like what it's all about. It's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because they don't use the noggles. I think so. I think it was the first fork of the auction mechanic and the first fork to use different art. And so they don't have the noggles in there. The consistent theme throughout all the art is the wizard hat. So it was supposed to be, like nouns, but instead of the noggles, it's the wizard hat. So yeah, and there's a supply cap of 2,000. Obviously, like if the DAO voted to change that, like it's possible to change it, but it's not really something that's been considered at this point. So it's getting up to like 30-40% of the supply has been minted at this point.
Cool. There's
Yeah,
a
Wizards.
treasury there too.
Yeah, I was about to say
and
Wizards was super attractive because of what you said about the network. Like when I noticed, like, Nouns Fork early, jumped in and had a look and didn't really pay a lot of attention, and then started noticing the people in there and was like, oh wow, this is a rad little community, and just quietly started bidding because I didn't want to like stir up anyone. I was trying to get those minimum reserve bids in while no one was looking, and then yeah, grabbed a couple, and then just started chiming in a bit, and it just happened to be around the same time that they were discussing like needing a noun as well, and like should we buy a noun with this treasury? And I was like, whoa, we could FOMO a wizard hat. Like let's try and FOMO a wizard hat on the Noun O'Clock show and get that. And I think it was only like 2 days, and we managed to FOMO the wizard hat. And then Wizards DAO
yeah, it
like
was pretty
jumped in
fast.
and bought it. So good.
Yeah, Noun 433. Such a awesome one,
Mm-hmm.
and it's cool to see a DAO owning a noun. Very
I
Exactly.
cool.
think it might have actually been the first wizard to go up on auction. I think there's 3 wizard hats, and the other 2 went to the Nounders, if I remember correctly.
Lucky Nounders. Yeah, it's interesting too that the Wizards DAO owns the wizard hat noun, and then I guess there's been some talk around Gnars DAO as well of the possibility of Noun 189, my noun, being owned by the DAO treasury at some point. And I've been thinking about it a lot because I didn't buy Noun 189 to try and make a profit. I did it to get involved as deeply as possible in nouns. So I think at some point, if the community is keen to own one for the story value, and then of course we could be delegated others to maintain our ability to submit proposals and stuff as a DAO. I think there's some really interesting thoughts to be had there, and Satori's been really super helpful with feedback around some of these ideas as well, because we're sort of coming up to this point where things are going from just me doing everything and trying to figure it out to everyone doing bits and pieces, and it really sort of making perfect sense. Like I think everyone is mostly on the same page, which has been a really cool experience. But I guess we're sort of coming up to 5 minutes to 11, so the show time has like flown past as always. Did we want to look into the giveaways and stuff now, Ben?
Yeah, for sure. Let me just check this room retweets. Yeah, cool. We've hit 10 retweets, which is the minimum requirement to use a Twitter repicker. There's not much point retweeting now towards the end of the show anyway, so I'll run this retweet picker now. Let's see what we got.
We also got to talk about the artwork contest for next week.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah, you want to talk about that while I do the draw?
For sure.
Yeah, so for the newsletter, we're talking about running the next week's artwork contest, but with the theme of art for the newsletter. So that could be the banner. If you want to have like a footer, I'll find out what the list of the images are. But yeah, basically anything that you might want to be included in the newsletter.
And we can put out a tweet from the Gnars account later today. We'll announce that with the parameters for what the submissions need to be like. And we have a really good example from Illustradora, who's listening in the crowd as well. So we're very fortunate to have some amazing artists contributing amazing artwork. And so I'll give back to Satori. You had a few details on the images and stuff.
Yeah, so there's a handful of images that you can do. It'll be logos, email banners, cover images, the social like preview image, and then you can also just do like a full width image that could be included as part of the introduction. Just something cool that you want to have featured in there. And so the winners will get the prizes. If I remember correctly, it's 0.25, 0.15, and 0.1. Someone can correct me if that's wrong. And then your art will also be featured in the newsletter.
Yeah, that sounds good. We can finalize that today and then get it out there and see what happens, because like the submissions that we had last week were awesome. We asked that people got like a photo out in the street of something they could imagine a Gnar shredding on, and then we saw all sorts of iterations of nouns and Gnars, and even Mr. Seek's character Bruce, who featured in our billboard that we did in Times Square earlier this year. So it's cool to see Brucey taking on a life of his own as well. Really
We've been seeing the Brucey bag show up too in the artwork of Gnars a bit more recently, which is rad. I keep missing them. People keep sniping me on it, but I'll get one soon enough.
Yeah, it's cool. Like for those who don't know, Mr. Seeks is in the audience. He's an artist from same area that I'm from, and he did obviously the animation for our billboard that we did, but his some traits from his character Bruce are also in our protocol. So you'll often see this sort of teal coloured shirt with white ribbing and a red what we call in Australia a bum bag. I don't know if that's what bum bags are elsewhere, but he sort of embodies this cultural reference in Australia, where we have these like essays and these different sort of subcultures of fashion and sort of local kids. And yeah, it's been popping up more and more often. Maybe it's a signal from the blockchain that they see Mr. Seeks out there. All right, so I guess once we do the giveaway with Ben, that's pretty much it for today's show. Like I said before, we'll follow up the tweet. And did you need any more time, Ben? And if so,
no, all good.
All right, sweet.
All good. So yeah, the Twitter picker. Hold on, let me just pull this up. We've got a winner. We're retweeting our space. It's going to win a Gnar from one of the. Which wallet are we going to get them to look in?
Can pick from any of my wallets, the Art House or Skate or DAO. So I'll share those afterwards.
Awesome. All right, here we go. Ramon, and that's W3 Degenerate is the handle. But yeah, we know him well. He's been part of the DAO for a while.
Yeah, boy.
So yeah, well done.
Stoked. Yeah, I'll share the links to the wallet for winners to choose from via DMs.
Sweet. Yeah, too easy. All right. Well, yeah, I guess we can wrap up. Thanks for showing up, everybody. And sorry, what was that, Davin?
I'm asking, do we have a pop for today?
Oh, yes, we do.
Oh, lucky Davin's here.
Yeah. See, this is community, man. Community helping out all the time. This is good.
You see, Robot Fish Girl has a lot of pop-ups, and I want to make it a point that I don't miss a pop-up for the Gnars Jam session. At least I will have that.
That's awesome. Thanks.
All right, so I'm just setting the window open for now. If you want to find a song to play us out, Garmy, or do you want to get me to
Yeah,
find
I'll
a
go
song?
for it.
Cool.
There's an awesome Raven up for auction too.
Oh yeah, that is amazing, Raven too. Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
So we just missed another auction 5 minutes ago too. I don't know who won. Completely missed it. I'll have to do better at like setting an alarm for every 20 minutes so we can catch it during the show.
Yeah, that's nice, Raven. Dilated teal glasses, gold T-shirt, and the bling arrow on the Windows 95 background.
I love that background color. So good.
Me too. From Cryptodes too. So shout out Cryptodes. All our backgrounds come from Cryptodes and Nouns. Just going to find a song to play us out. I should have been more organised.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm just setting this secret code up as well. All right. So if you don't have the PoApp app, you can get it from poapp.xyz. But if you've already got it, then open it up and hit the mint button and then the secret word button. And then we've got Scan NFC in there now too, which is cool because something else we didn't really get to cover today is that we're going to be setting athletes up and people from the DAO with IRL NFC chips for like having met people IRL because, you know, we're bridging that Web3 to IRL gap a bit. And it'll be really cool to collect POAPs for meeting people in person at certain events and stuff. So that sort of thing's getting set up at the moment. The app's just updated to include the scanning of the NFC chips. So yeah, some really cool stuff happening there. But for today, it's a secret word, and the secret word is Satori. Satory. All right, I'll leave that open for another couple of minutes. We've got to be careful of the POAP farmers always getting told to shut it down very quickly. So respect their wishes.
Great song choice.
Can you hear the tunes, Ben?
Yep.
This is Tato by Masego and FKJ, Fresh Kiwi Juice.
Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thanks so much, everyone. If you're not in our Discord yet, you're welcome to come to discord.gg/Gnars. American accent, very important. She hit me like that. Saw that thing so beautiful. That she just hit my heart. Oh, that full force and she got me like that. I be like that. Baby, why you so fine? Got to make you mine. So hard to find. Baby, like, oh, how'd you do the thing? The way that you do it, and she ain't even show nothing. She be walking around so confident, so heavy set. I think she was meant to knock the way like.